بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. We start by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send blessings and salutations upon His beloved and final messenger Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless all those that followed in His footsteps and make us from them. Respected brothers and sisters, honorable elders, we're on to the second Jumu'ah of Ramadan. Imagine, 8 days gone already, subhanallah. You know how time flies. Before we know it, you know, the first third of Ramadan is gone, and then we're going to be already in the last 10. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give us tawfiq that we take qadr, we make every opportunity that we have, that we try our best, inshallah ta'ala. Now maybe some of us, we didn't get off to a good start. That's okay. You know, this is not a problem. Every moment that the believer has is an opportunity for change. You know, that literally, we're just going in one direction, we just have to shift. And once we shift and we make that sincere shift, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enables. He does the rest. So don't think just because I didn't have the start I want, now I must wait till next Ramadan. You know, the good old, we'll start on Monday story, right? This is shaitan. No, every moment that we can shift and we can change and we can utilize it. Now, respected brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes many oaths in the Quran. And one of the oaths He takes is on different times. Right? Wal-layl, on the night. Wal-nahar, on the day. Wal-fajr, on the morning. Wal-duha, that mid-morning. And also on time itself. Wal-asr, right? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes an oath on time itself. Now, whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes an oath in the Quran, there's two things for us. One is to see, okay, what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taking the oath on? Rabbul Izzah, He's Rabbul Alameen, right? He only takes oaths on those things that are great. So here it's time, wal asr, on time itself. We take heed from this. Then innal insana lafi khusr, right? Then we look at what is the actual oath. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us certainly humanity is in loss. Fi khusr, you know, drowning in deep in loss. You know, except who? The ones who believe and do good actions. Now what does this mean that humanity is in loss? Really, my brothers and sisters, if you think about it, when we come into this world, right? The minute we enter into this world, actually, our life is on one road, right? That every second, every minute that passes us by, we're heading towards meeting our Creator. Now, I'm not being morbid. This is the reality that as soon as you're born, you're already on that path, you know. And the Salaf, that they wouldn't count time in days and months and in weeks, right? They would look at time in breaths. That every single breath that goes, that's a breath that's lost, right? That and Hasan al-Basri, he would say, right? That the human being is just a collection of breaths, right? And once they take one breath, part of him is actually gone, right? So my brothers and sisters, this time is of essence for us and one of the most important things for us. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's the creator of time, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designed the world this way to have days and nights. He created the world in 6 days. Allah didn't have to do that, right? Kun fayakun. He could have just created the world, right? But He did it in 6 days to teach us. Look at our salah. He gives us 5 salah. Inna salah kanat ala al-mu'minina kitaban mawquta, right? It's on specific times. The Hajj is a specific time in the year. Ramadan comes once a year. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala organized these things to teach us what? To teach us, you know, intentional, purposeful living. That we ourselves, we arrange our lives. That we organize our lives. That we are aware of times. And the time that the time is passing all the time. Now, my brothers and sisters, you know, when we ask somebody what is the most valuable thing that they have, often people think of material things, right? They think my house, my car, my wealth, my parents, whatever. They think of things that they can see, things that they can touch, right? But in reality, isn't the most valuable things that we have those things that we can't see? Think about it. Our faith. is the most valuable thing that we have. This is the difference between success and not. Right? We can't see faith, right? Yet it's the most valuable thing. Also, even if you think about the actions we do, even those good actions, they're actually meaningless, right? They don't mean anything except what? Except if they're coupled with good intentions and sincerity, right? We can't see sincerity, we can't see good intentions. So in actual fact, the most valuable things that we have in life are things that we cannot see. Right? And time is one of those things. It's one of those things that we cannot see. Ikhlas is one of those things that we cannot see. Right? And this is why it's so important that we focus on time and being aware of time. Now, imagine you're walking down the street and you saw somebody just with $100 notes, you know, and they were just throwing $100 notes away. Just like this, just throwing $100. What would you think? I think this person's mad. How can he just be throwing away money like this? How can he just be wasting money like this? Right? Yes, money has value. And if we were all to see this, we'd be absolutely shocked, right? But in reality, isn't time more valuable? Isn't time more valuable than money? Take a person who has $1 billion, a billionaire, yet he's only got 1 hour to live, right? Compared to somebody who has $1,000, yet he's got months, years to live. Who's more valuable, right? The one who has less money, but he's got time. Why? Because you can, any bounty that you have in this world, if you don't have time, it means nothing. The value of anything is in the ability to use it, to spend it, to take benefit from it. Otherwise, it's not valuable, right? Now, just like we would see that person on the street throwing away his money, what about the people that for hours they scroll on their phones, scrolling? You know, looking at what? Looking at other people's lives. Just 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours go by. Some people wake up in the morning. They don't need more sleep, but they just want to kill time, you know? They sit in bed another 2, 3 hours, just falling asleep, coming awake, right? Watching TV. Sometimes we can waste days, even weeks, and we don't even question it. Why? Why don't we question it? Yet when we were to see a person throwing away wealth, then we would question it. Now, you know, my brothers and sisters, money, it comes and goes, right? Money, you get money, you lose money, you spend it, it comes again. Even health, right? Health comes, it goes, right? You can get it back. Right? Opportunities, they come and they go. But time, it never comes back. Once it is gone forever. It's never coming back, right? This is why, my brothers, time is life. Time is your life. Your time is your life. Hassan al-Basri, rahmah ta'ala, he was walking through the marketplace one time. And he saw somebody in the marketplace. He said that this merchant of ice, selling ice. And this merchant was calling out, "Have mercy on the one whose merchandise is melting away." Have mercy on the one whose merchandise is melting away. Hassan al-Basri stepped back. He thought, subhanallah, isn't this the condition of every single one of us? Isn't this our condition? That our merchandise, that our time is just ticking away. It's melting away. Every single second, gone. The opportunities that we have, certain du'as, certain tasbih, that we can be building trees in Jannah within 10 seconds, that we can be drawing from the treasures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just in seconds. Right? This is our greatest merchandise. This is our greatest opportunity, is our time. Aisha radiallahu anha, she said that the one thing that people will regret in Jannah is what? The one thing, remember, we're in Jannah now. Jannah is a place of peace. It's a place of happiness. It's a place of ease. But still, there's the one regret that people of Jannah will have is that an hour would have passed in the day and they didn't remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? You know, when we come out of the toilet, we say, Ghufranak. That, oh Allah, we seek forgiveness for you. Does anybody know why? Why after we enter the toilet and we come out of the toilet, Why do we ask for forgiveness? Anybody? Huh? No dhikr, right. That we couldn't. We were in a place of najasa. So we couldn't remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? And because we couldn't remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at that time, we actually seek forgiveness. This tells us that our whole life is meant to be in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that those moments that were not in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we actually need to seek forgiveness for that. You know, my brothers and sisters, sometimes we think that 60 or 70 years, it's a long time. Reality, it is not a long time. On the day of Qiyamah, what's going to happen? قَالَ كَمْ لَبِثْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ عَدَدَ سِنِينَ. We'll be asked, how long, how many years did you actually spend in the world? قَالُوا لَبِثْنَا يَوْمًا وَبَعْدَ يَوْمٍ فَاسْأَلِ الْعَادِينَ. They say, well, maybe we spent a day or even a part of a day. Imagine this, 60, 70 years in the world, and when we leave it, we're going to look back at it, and we're going to think it was just like a part of a day, right? You know, the before us, those generations that came before us, they lived for years, right? Noah alayhi salatu wasalam, 950 years he's giving da'wah. How many years did he live for? They had centuries and centuries. We have 60 or 70. You know, one story, one woman, she was crying and a wise man walked past her. I said, sister, like, why are you crying? From a previous generation, why are you crying? She said, I lost my son. I lost him very young. He said he was only 500 years old. I'm worried he didn't do enough to get into Jannah. The wise man told her, have patience. There'll come a generation after you that will only live 60 to 70 years. What did she say? She said, and they'll enter into Jannah? Then she said, Wallahi, that if I was given a life like this, I would spend it in one sajda. Really, my brothers and sisters, 60 and 70 years, it may seem like a long time, but in reality, everybody knows, you just blink and a year is gone. And especially today, right? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ni'matani maghbunun fihima kathirun min an-nas. That there's two qualities, two bounties that we have, that people are so negligent of them. They don't realize their value. What is it? Sihha, our health, and faragh, our free time. And it's a reality, my brothers. Until you lose health, you don't value it, right? And the time, especially the time. Subhanallah, how much of us really careful in regards to our time? Rasulullah said, لا تزول قدم عبدا يوم القيامة حتى يسأل عن أربع. That the feet of a believer won't move on the day of Qiyamah until he's asked four things. His shabab, how he spent his youth, and how he used his life. We think about, my brothers, we need to think about when we're standing on that day. What are our answers? What will we answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What will we say? My brothers, the people of the past, the Salaf, they knew the importance. They knew the importance of time. Ibn Hubayra, rahimahullah, was a great scholar. He said that if your today is the same as yesterday, then you've oppressed yourself. If your today is the same as yesterday, you've oppressed yourself. That every single day you should be improving. Hamad ibn Salama, the great tabi'i muhaddith, he said that if a call was to come that you only have one day left, he said that I wouldn't be able to increase my ibadah. That's how much he was using his time, that there was no spare time for him. What about us? If that call was to come? Ibn Jawzi, rahimahullah ta'ala, he authored over 700 works. 700 works, imagine, right? 700, and not small, volumes, some of the works, right? He said that if an hour passed and I wasn't studying, I wasn't writing, I wasn't learning, I wasn't teaching, I wasn't in ibadah, he said I would consider this to be an absolute destruction. Imam Nawawi, rahimahullah ta'ala, the great Shafi'i scholar, many of us read his works, Riyadh al-Salihin, the Arba'een, right? He only lived into his 40s, 45. Yet he authored 300 works. 300 works. And he only started later, right? So much. But he was so particular with time. So particular. You know, at one point in his life, he wouldn't sleep lying down. He didn't want to waste time. He didn't want to get too comfortable. He would literally fall asleep and then wake up and start writing. He said, I was afflicted with the problem that people would want to come talk to me, right? And he said, I was so worried about wasting time that when people came, I would sharpen my pencils in this time and I would tie my books. Right? He didn't waste time. Ibn Aqil, he wrote Al-Funun, 800 volumes. 800 volumes of one book. Imagine, right? He used to fast every day. Why? Right? He said, to eat takes up too much time. To eat takes up too much time. Right? Not fasting for Allah, obviously. He said that when I realized I was wasting time when I was breaking my fast, chewing on food, he started to mix the bread with water so he could drink it. Just to save time. This is amazing, these people, how they value time. Other scholars, they would have servants feeding them so they could keep writing. Right? They knew the value. They knew that their time was their life. Right? And that they were going to be asked about it. Now, look at these works. These people value time. These ulama value time. We're reading their works now. Why did they value time? They wanted to get the most out of their life. And because of that sincerity and the effort they put in, they're still getting reward. We're still reading their works, and every single day they get reward. Why? Because of that value that they had. Now, brothers and sisters, what can we do? What can we do to organize ourselves and value this time? Here, Ramadan is a month of consciousness, right? And the fast reminds us of our purpose. You know, we all have amnesia. You know, we'll talk about time now, we'll walk out, right? We'll forget about it. Like that's the reality of our situation today. We need constant reminders to tell us, remind us the value of time. And whatever it is, everybody's different. You know, the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they would actually read this surah, Wal Asr. When they would greet, when they would depart, they would read it as a reminder for each other. Imam Shafi rahimahullah, he said, if this was to be revealed, the only thing that was revealed, it would have sufficed for humanity. Right? But they would remind each other. Whatever we need to do, maybe we need to put sticky notes, maybe we need to have things up in our room, things on our phone, checking how long we're on our phone. Whatever it may be, work out what works for you. Right? And do this. That at the end of the day, maybe half through the day, you've got some reminder that comes out. You've spent so much minutes today. What did you achieve? It's this reminder on our phone. Whatever works for us, do this. But start calculating. My brothers and sisters, we calculate our money, do we not? Do we not check our bank balance? Are we not checking it weekly? Why do we not check our time and our actions? This is the first thing. Work out ways to stay conscious. Secondly, is that live with purpose. If we don't live with purpose, we'll waste our life. One scene in Alice in Wonderland, right? Alice comes to a fork in the road, right? And there's that creature, I don't know, it's like a cat or something like that. So she comes to the fork and she asks the creature, she asks the character, which way do I take? So what does he say? He says, where are you going? She says, I don't know. He says, then it doesn't matter what road you take, right? And this is the reality that if we don't have purpose, if we don't know where we're going, then we just be taken on different journeys in life and we'll waste our life like that. So have purpose, have goals and have purpose in your life. Make sure that they align with your ultimate purpose. وَمَا خَلَقَتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. That we were here to recognize and worship our Lord. Make sure your goals in life align with that. And then set them daily. Wake up and have a goal for that day and remind yourself and live with purpose in that day. Right? And then utilize the time in which there is barakah. Rasulullah made dua sallallahu alayhi wasallam for this ummah in the morning. Utilize this time, right? Anybody who uses this time, they'll know that if you just spend 2 hours in that morning time, that literally it won't get as much barakah after dhuhr. After dhuhr, it's like it's gone. If you wake up early, it's hard now after Fajr. It's a bit tiring, right? But outside the Ramadan, don't sleep after Fajr. Do all your work after Fajr. Utilize this time. Also, there's zakat of wealth, there's zakat of time. That when you put time into good use, Allah will put barakah in it. Right? Rasulullah tells us that the person who makes his the dunya, what happens? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala scatters his affairs. He doesn't know what's going on. Just wasting time here. He puts faqr bayna aynayhi, between his eyes. Doesn't matter how much wealth he's got, he still thinks he's poor. Right? And he doesn't give him anything more than what he was meant to get. But the person who makes his hum, the akhirah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gathers his affairs. He puts contentment in his heart. Even if he's got little, he's happy. Right? And the world chases after him. My brothers and sisters, Ibn Abbas, you know, when Rasulullah passed away, he was 13. And he was walking with one friend. And he said, come, let's go and learn off the older Sahaba. And his friend, why? You know, there's so many ulama. We don't need to do that. They'll take care of it. Ibn Abbas said, I left him. And Ibn Abbas would go sit at the doors of the great Sahaba. And he would wait for knowledge. He wouldn't knock. He would wait for them to come out. And he would take knowledge. And many years, we know who Ibn Abbas, what he became, right? And his friend saw him many years later. And he said, Subhanallah. He was right. He was truthful. I wasted time. I wasted my life. My brothers and sisters, let's not be like that friend. Let us look back at our lives and let's take heed. Let the regret that we feel from the time that we wasted be the change of our lives today, and we start utilizing every single minute we have for good deeds. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us tawfiq. Wa akhir da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.